In this video, we're going to talk about why your wife pulls away and why every time you try to do something different, it seems like it makes it worse. It seems like every time you reach out, you try to talk to her about the issues in the relationship, she either just goes cold or silent. Maybe she gets angry. Maybe she attacks you. Maybe she deflects it and just says it's your fault. And maybe what ends up happening is you try to do something different, but everything that you do feels like an ever-moving goalpost and you cannot win. And so in this video, I'm going to break down exactly why this is happening to you and what you can do to move forward so that you can actually have the love and intimacy, the desire, the appreciation, and all the great things that come with an amazing relationship. So your woman, like all women, they are very conflict averse. When your woman gets mad at you, she gets angry, she raises her voice, she gives you the eye roll, or she gives you belittling comments, this is on the backside of her not being able to communicate with you effectively. In other words, she doesn't want conflict. Most women don't want conflict, and they're more risk averse to this than guys are. And so whenever she wants something from you, she's going to hint at it. Why? Because she's dancing around everybody's feelings. She's dancing around your feelings. You would say as a guy, just tell it to me straight. If you just tell it to me straight, I can deal with it. But you have to realize that she's assuming you have this intuitive ability like she does. And so when you don't get it, she's like, it's obvious, how come you don't get it? And it's because she's projecting how she is onto you. She sees the world through her own lens of how she is, just like everybody does, just like you do. And it's because we assume the other person acts like us, that we think and feel and go into the world the same as they do. So your woman learns to or acts in a way that's a lot more intuitive. She acts in a way that the rolling of her eyes, the bad tone of voice, the belittling comments, the deflections and her not ever being wrong, and you coming into this place trying to be able to talk to her, frustrated that it doesn't sound like anything that you say to her matters to her. And you may complain about the dishes, or you may complain about her not being present with you, or the biggest complaint that most men have is that she just doesn't want him intimately. She doesn't want to have sex. And so he'll talk about this. Why don't you want to have sex? And then he'll go and get this cold shoulder from her. There'll be this endless discussion, this fight that never seems to end and never seems to get anywhere. And everything that you did wrong seems to come back and get thrown in your fucking face, no matter how many years have gone by. And if you don't address this situation is going to get worse and worse. How do I know? Well, look at your past now. Has it gotten any better? And I guarantee you this dysfunction that you're having right now is getting seeded into your children's minds. They are normalizing this dysfunction. And if you don't take the lead, and this is what it means to be a leader in a relationship, the lead to solve this and make a path forward, they will embed this into their psyches and they will create the exact same fucking dynamic that you're in. And it sucks. It sucks big time. Looking at these little ones who you care deeply with, that you love more than anything else in the world, and knowing that you are failing them right now. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can actually have a woman who actually knows how you feel with just a look. And in fact, that you can see your wife and just know exactly how she is and how she's operating and know exactly the moves and the things to say and how to connect to her on an emotional level without even saying a word. And she can look at you across from the kitchen like my wife did this past Sunday, and she's like, I can't believe I'm with you. You're the most amazing guy ever. Now, how do I get to a place where your wife just doesn't care about you at all, or she seems like she doesn't care because she gives you the cold shoulder all the time, maybe the silent treatment, maybe she manipulates you, guilts you, shames you, talks down to you, belittles you, emasculates you, to this place where she absolutely is dying for your attention and looks at you with admiration and that big saucer eye look towards you like a puppy dog, even after 10 years of marriage, and says, hey, I cannot believe I'm with you. It feels like I won the lottery with you. There's a way to get there. And so when your wife gets all upset and she gets frustrated, the thing isn't communication that's the problem. The thing is your inability to internally or intuitively see, feel, and hear her. And guys aren't this way. They go from one position where they're this robot. Let me just logically figure out what's going on with her. Then I can give her the ABC 1, 2, 3 formula to get her past the problem. And you might come to this video thinking that this is what you need here. Just tell me, Ed, the functions, I can do this. Now, we can do the functions. The problem though is even if you do the functions, you're still coming off as a robot. She didn't get with you because she wants a robot. She got with you because she wants to have a human experience with another fucking human being, namely you. A guy that she sees, feels, and hears. Like she wants to feel you intuitively. And so this is the big disconnect that most men have, is where she is coming to the table intuitively. And so intuitively, she's gonna look at you and she's gonna see all the nuance of your emotions. She's gonna see all the nuances in the look in your face, in the way that you move, in the way that you act. And for you, you think you can hide from her, but you cannot. Most men think they can hide from their woman. And so they lie to her, They make light of things, they make excuses, they push things off, they don't keep their word. And so she sees every one of these things. You don't think she does, but she fucking sees it. And then you have to make excuses. And maybe you're not even connected within yourself enough to even see the things that she's seeing within you. I'm not talking about a relationship, we're talking about personality disorders where there's a lot of manipulation and control games going on. I'm talking about a relationship with two people who have some sort of empathy, some sort of empathetic ability to see and hear each other. And she sees these things and she points them out to you. And you back up and you make excuses. Well, I just did this because of this reason, this and this and this. And you think that if you just tell her all the reasons why you did it, you'll just be let off the hook. But at the end of the day, where's the pivot? Where's the change? If you're at a job and your boss says, John, why did you wreck that car? You're like, well, the brakes were out and this other thing happened and this other thing, another thing happened over here. And he's like, why were you even in the driver's seat? You're the car washing guy. You're not the test drive guy. So why did you wreck the car? Well, I did this and this and my intention was really good and all these things. And the boss is like, I don't give a fuck what your intentions are. You wrecked my car. I can't have an employee here who can't have enough foresight to not get behind the wheel and wreck a car. So you're fired. And see, this is the game that you're running into with your wife. She says, hey, honey, you didn't take out the trash. And you're saying, well, it was a busy day. I'll get to it later. But then later never comes. And then you forget and you get into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And then she looks at you like, why didn't he take out the trash? And you're like, it's just the trash. It doesn't matter. It's not just the trash. What it is a fundamental break in the way that you're operating as a man. See, you're not actually looking at her and seeing the pain and whatever's going on within her. In fact, you're not even looking at yourself, which is why you can't even see what's going on with her. And so this is where she'll start saying comments like, I don't want to have to tell you what to do. If your wife ever feels like she has to tell you what to do, or you feel lost in your home, where you feel like this guy just stands around, just give me the next dish to put in the dishwasher and hopefully I'm being a good boy, you have massively and fundamentally broken your leadership as the man in the relationship. Why? Because you don't even know what's going on in the house. And you're looking for her to give you direction. She doesn't want a guy that she has to give direction to. She wants a guy that she can rely on and who creates the direction in the context of why this relationship should even exist in the first place. You see, without that kind of structure, without that kind of leadership where you take the initiative and understand what's happening in the relationship and then give direction, not ask for permission. Hey, baby, do you think this is okay? Do you think this? No, she's like, hey, let's do this. Let's go here. I think this should be the way we should do it. What do you think, right? As an advisory to you, you ask for the advice, not, hey, what do you want to do? And ask apologies and apologize on the way that you act. She's not looking for that at all. And this is where guys fuck it up because she can intuitively see all the things that's going on within you, and then you're robotic and you don't even know what's going on within yourself. You're just living on the surface level thing of I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm anxious, I'm happy and I'm horny and I'm hungry and I'm thirsty, and that's about it. Like most guys don't try to look at the depth of their emotional state. And so when their wife comes over here and she tries to show something and reflect something to him, he has no idea what's going on. And then she has an emotional reaction. And instead of going in and like trying to ask her questions to see and understand her emotional reaction or see what's going on with her, he gets flustered by her emotional state and he goes into problem solving mode. Her emotions are too much for me, so I need to go into problem solving modes so that we can fix the emotions so we can go back to happy. You've just discounted the human experience that she's having. You just discounted a whole part of her and who she is. She's not just the happy version. She's the sad version. She's the anxious one. She's the overwhelmed one. And when you throw out all these solutions because you are uncomfortable with her emotionality, that also comes off as weak. She sees you as scared. What is she going to do? She's going to start holding it back. She's going to stop emoting. She's going to start shutting herself down in front of you because you can't take it. And you throw these things at her and you say, baby, handle your shit. I handle my shit on my own, handle your shit. And she was never asking you to solve her problem. She was asking you to just have a human experience with her, to be there with her, to know that you are there and you give a fuck, not to shut it down. So not only does it come off as you're just shutting her down, it comes off as condescending, like she can't handle herself, like she has no idea what's happening. But really, she just needed somebody to just be there in a space with her, to put a container around the emotionality. So what does a container look like? Let's not get too overwhelmed. Let's not call names. Ask her questions. Give her the space to actually be fully open and emote. And then having the ground rules that associate with that. Well, generally, if it's not about you, then she's not going to be calling you names and stuff. So if my wife is getting all upset and angry and stuff, I'm going to ask her questions and see what's going on with her. Sit there in the pocket with her. Be fully present, looking her in the eye, not thinking about a bunch of other things, not waiting for her to shut up so I can say and interject something. It's not about me. And so you coming in here and she's like, oh yeah, all this bad stuff's going on. I'm like, yeah, I had something like that go on too. You just made the conversation about you. You didn't let her stay in the pocket of where she's at. Why does it have to be about you? Why does it have to relate to your experience? It's not about you. It's about her having an experience and she just wants you to be there in that space. That's it. And guys are like, that's it? That's all I have to do? Yeah, dude, just shut up and just hang out. It's really simple. Just be present with her. Watch what she's doing, feel her out, and just be there with her. Ask her questions, and you would be surprised at how fast she resolves her own issue just because you're sitting there hanging out with her. And then she'll turn around and be like, you're amazing. You're like, I literally did nothing. I just sat here and looked at you the whole time and just asked you a couple of questions because I was kind of curious about what's going on. And she's like, thank you so much. That's all I needed. Very simple. And so from this place of being able to handle your own emotionality means that you can now handle her emotionality. So the problem is that when she gets emotional, for a lot of guys, they go into the other end of the spectrum from robotic to reactionary. You react. She gets upset, you get defensive. She gets angry, you get angry. She says a belittling remark and you come back and fire one right back. She gets overwhelmed and you get overwhelmed by the fact that she's overwhelmed. Like, God damn it. Another day of losing your temper, making lunches for the kids. Can we just have a peaceful morning? But if you actually stopped and were calm, you might just notice that the reason that she's overwhelmed is because she's chasing around several kids trying to get them wrangled for school and doing their lunches. And so the problem was never overwhelmed. The problem was lack of discipline, and discipline generally comes from the father. And so you failed in the game of discipline, and so now she's overwhelmed, just screaming at the kids, and you get mad at her for screaming at the kids. When you let this foster, you let this shit happen and metastasize in your relationship. And so, robotic or reactive, you got to be somewhere in the middle. You don't need to solve her problems, but you do need to be there in the mix with her. And that's pretty much it. This is all she needs from you. Almost all the time, this simple shift will absolutely revolutionize your relationship. If you'd like to know more about how to revolutionize your relationship and create soulmates with the woman that you've decided to dedicate your life with, check out Soul Seducer. It's for men just like you watching this video. And if you're watching this video, I know it's for you. So go ahead and check it out. So the link is in the description below. Love you, brother, and I'll see you in the next one.